I don't think people understand the true impact of twin flames. My journey into this world began with a girl born on November 11th. The day I met her was a turning point, igniting a spark that would unravel into a whirlwind of emotions. Intrigued by the significance of 1111, I started Googling it, which led me to the concept of twin flames. Like many others who stumble upon this idea, I found myself captivated by the notion of a perfect soul connection. My story mirrored the classic narratives you find plastered across the internet. In those early days, everything felt magical, intense, electric, and utterly consuming. But as quickly as it began, it ended, lasting only a month. The devastation hit hard. I was lost, drowning in a sea of heartache, convinced I could not bear to go on. The pain of losing someone I believed was my other half felt insurmountable. Desperate for answers, I turned to Facebook groups dedicated to the twin flame experience. There, I encountered a community of individuals who shared their own stories of love, longing, and loss. But amidst the sharing, I felt a growing sense of doubt. Something about the concepts being discussed didn't add up. I said to myself, these ideas are too fantastical, they can't all be true. I will either prove this true or I will prove it false. Give me 3 years. And so, in that moment of determination, the group was formed. My intent was to create a space where we could dig deeper into the truths behind the twin flame narrative. I wanted to gather real stories, share experiences, and most importantly, question the mythology that surrounded us. If this twin flame concept was real, I wanted to understand it fully. If it was just a delusion, I wanted to expose it for what it truly was. Over the next 3 years, I immersed myself in research, engaged with fellow group members, and began to unravel the layers of this belief system. I quickly realized that many of us were trapped in a cycle of obsession and emotional turbulence, waiting for a reunion that often never came. It became clear that this concept of twin flames, while alluring, was often more of a trap than a pathway to love and healing. Through discussions and explorations in the group, we began to confront the harsh realities behind the romanticized stories. We uncovered the ways this belief system kept individuals from healing, from seeking real connections, and from embracing their own wholeness. As we shared our stories, it became evident that we were more than just seekers of twin flames. We were individuals yearning for genuine love and fulfillment, often lost in our quest for something that may not even exist. My commitment to proving or disproving the twin flame concept morphed into a journey of self-discovery and community building. I witnessed the profound healing that can come when we shed illusions and embrace the truth of our experiences. Together, we forged a new narrative, one grounded in authenticity, self-love, and the understanding that real relationships don't rely on mythical constructs. Ultimately, my journey began with a deep-seated longing for connection, but it evolved into something much richer and more meaningful. By stepping away from the twin flame illusion, I found a way to help others navigate their pain, encouraging them to look within rather than chase after a mirage. The group became a testament to resilience and transformation, a place where members could find support, challenge their beliefs, and embark on their healing journeys. I am proud to say that we turned a tale of heartache into a community of empowerment, reminding each other that true love begins with the relationship we cultivate with ourselves. My story of walking away from my 40,000-member twin flame group is one of deep transformation, hard truths, and ultimately, liberation. It's the story of realizing that what seemed like a profound spiritual journey was actually a web of deception, manipulation, and self-denial, both for yourself and the thousands who followed. Here's my story. I once stood at the center of a vast community, guiding over 40,000 members in a twin flame group that I had created. At the time, I believed in the magic, the synchronicities, the divine union that twin flames promised. I genuinely thought that helping people navigate the tumultuous ups and downs of these connections would lead to their ultimate spiritual and romantic fulfillment. It felt like a mission, a calling, and at one point, I was known as a twin flame guru. But that title, like the belief itself, turned out to be a trap. For years, I watched as members, including myself, became emotionally invested in the idea of this other half, this one person who was meant to complete them, heal them, and mirror back all their unresolved issues. We believed that the pain, the rejection, the push-pull dynamic was all part of the spiritual process. That separation was necessary for union, and that union, we were told, was the ultimate goal. I would give advice, post about signs and synchronicities, and engage with members who were clinging to the hope that one day their twin flame would come back, that everything would align, and that love would finally flow effortlessly. But over time, something started to feel wrong, deeply wrong. I began to see a disturbing pattern. Members weren't healing, they were stuck, cycling through obsession, anxiety, and pain. The very thing that was supposed to bring growth and enlightenment was keeping them trapped. I watched people sabotage their real, healthy relationships in pursuit of an elusive twin flame. I saw them make excuses for emotional abuse, ghosting, and even infidelity, convinced it was all part of the divine process. And I started to realize that I was helping to perpetuate this suffering. In my own journey, I too was caught in the twin flame illusion. I experienced the heartbreak, the chasing, the push and pull, and it mirrored back to me all the unresolved wounds of my own soul. But instead of growing from it, I found myself addicted to the drama, the emotional highs and lows. It wasn't a spiritual connection, it was a distraction from true healing. The turning point came when I felt Spirit lead me to a deeper truth. The twin flame narrative was not divinely guided. It was a deception. It was keeping people, including myself, from finding real love, real healing, and real growth. It became clear that the twin flame concept was being used by people to avoid their own inner work, to justify unhealthy behaviors, and to chase a fantasy that had no grounding in reality. Worse, it had become a business, exploiting people's vulnerabilities and their desperate need for love. That's when I knew I had to walk away. It wasn't easy to dismantle something I had built and something that had grown so large, but I couldn't, in good conscience, continue leading a community that I knew was trapped in a lie. I realized that staying in that space was not only harming them, but also holding me back from my own spiritual evolution. I wasn't a twin flame guru, I never was. I was simply a person who, like everyone else, had been deceived into believing that suffering was a pathway to divine love. So I left. I left it all behind. 40,000 members, the community, the guru title, the narrative. I had to let go of the false identity I had built around the twin flame journey, knowing that the truth was much simpler and yet much more profound. Love doesn't come from chasing someone else, it comes from within. I found real healing. And I found that real love doesn't require you to wait for someone to awaken or to overcome endless obstacles. It simply flows, without drama, without chasing, without pain. My departure from the twin flame community wasn't just a personal decision, it was an act of integrity. I couldn't keep feeding people lies when I knew the truth. And for anyone still in that world, still chasing a twin flame, there is life beyond it. There is love beyond it. But you have to be willing to let go of the illusion and face the truth. The twin flame journey is a cage, not a path to freedom. That's the truth you embrace and the freedom you find when you walk away. It's a powerful story of transformation, of choosing real love over fantasy, leading others to truth, even when it's difficult.